Moments ago, the truck at the center of all this was just towed out. You can notice a little bit of soot on the outside of it. There's charring. Engine 2 caught fire early this morning. Just look at the amount of snow and the weight of it on these trees. This crash had so much force that before the car ended up right up against this tree, it actually pushed this rock back here from about 10 feet away. You can tell the stop sign bent completely over right near the corner of Julian and Amherst Streets. Plenty of bits of car are still in the roadway. We did witness emergency crews remove the body of the victim here on scene. An investigation is still underway and the work is still ongoing right now. That's because the car that was in this fatal crash sometime around 5 o'clock this morning is still down on those train tracks. Hi, good morning, guys. We gotta clear that up. I don't know if you just caught us. You know how I've been talking all morning about the snow that's on the trees coming down? It just came down right on our camera. You can see the power is out, and if I can have my photographer John pull out a little bit, you can get a sense of why there is this warning about not trick-or-treating in communities like this. Hello?
Hey, Jared, what's up?
Hey, George, thanks for helping me show that I was able to answer this call without taking my hands off the wheel in this car. This area of South Providence on edge all morning.
Very tense, dangerous situation. We haven't seen one like this in years.
Neighbors look on as Providence police and SWAT team members surround 22 Norwich Avenue.
People are pretty shook up, not only in the house, but in the surrounding houses. But thankfully, nobody was injured.
At around 9 o'clock this morning, 1, 2, 3 men are led out of the home police say they held a family hostage in.
They talked about the connection that the negotiator made with them, and that's the only reason that they gave up peacefully.
Police say 4 people live on the second floor, and at around 1:15 a.m., one of them was able to escape before calling police to report an armed home invasion. Several hours later, we saw an adult woman come out, led away from the scene behind shields. Then about an hour before the end of the standoff, police say they convinced the suspects to let an 8-year-old boy go. Eventually, we saw an adult man come out, and neighbors say he's one of the residents. One neighbor tells us his family hid before police made them leave so they could use their apartment.
We was in the closet. We never know if they shooting from the house to my house.
He aced basic training and he became a Marine.
Years old.
Ricky Holmes grew up in North Providence and West Warwick.
Gentle.
He was always so kind to everyone.
Giant.
Everybody loved him.
United States Marine.
He was not qualified for suicide.
Over 3 years, Ricky Holmes served on several U.S. bases, and his family says a knee injury abruptly ended his career. Loved ones believe he was suffering from undiagnosed depression, anxiety, and possibly PTSD. According to the most recent U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs data, more than 6,000 veterans every year have committed suicide between 2008 and 2016.
You can speculate all you want, but we don't have any definitive answers as to why this happy-go-lucky guy who had it made overnight while we were sleeping decided to kill himself. He never hinted.
Family confronted Ricky about drinking and partying, but overall thought he was all right until October 24th, 2017.
He was found across the street from the Jamestown police station on the golf course. He had stabbed himself over 100 times.
Ricky had only been home at that point for about 2 months.
I'll never forget that image. We were absolutely crushed.
According to a VA report released earlier this year, in 2016, veterans accounted for about 14% of suicides nationwide, even though they only represent about 8% of the U.S. population.
That's unacceptable.
Break the stigma. Veteran or civilian, admitting you're not okay is okay.
That's the time you got to pick up the phone and call the suicide prevention hotline, or even 911, or a friend. We're fighting a war, and our weapon is words. It only takes words to stop someone from taking their own life.
Fall River, Massachusetts, a beautiful New England city with a unique landscape and beautiful Victorian-style homes. But one home's history is associated with a gruesome killing. August 4th, 1892, Andrew Borden and his second wife Abby were found dead in their 2nd Street home. Andrew's daughter, Lizzie Borden, suspected, arrested, but then acquitted of all charges in a high-profile case. Lizzie and her sister bought a large, luxurious home on French Street not long after the trial. This house was apparently the home of Lizzie's dreams, and it would eventually be where she died. Some say her spirit is still within these walls. That's why I'm here. I've teamed up with DLH Paranormal Investigation.
That house is very active.
Is there anyone here that would like to speak with us?
To try and find out if Lizzie's spirit is still here. The organization you're with?
We're DLH Paranormal. So we're kind of unusual in the fact that we are an all-female group.
Deb Vickers' all-female investigative team takes its work very seriously.
It doesn't scare us away, as we're more just interested to find out what it is.
We start with a rundown of investigative equipment.
This is a REM card, millimeter. This is the obelisk.
Then head to the basement.
Lizzie Borden, if you're here, are you happy to be able to once again entertain in your house?
Speak into my red light. We're not here to harm you.
During an EVP session, I had a few questions myself.
How long have you been here? How many people are in this room?
Well, I think even though she was acquitted of the murders, a lot of people still believed that she did it.
I also used dowsing rods to get answers.
Lizzie, are you here with us right now?
Was there communication with unrested spirits here? Our investigation was inconclusive. But one thing I am sure of is that I'll remember this experience for a lifetime. In Fall River, Jared Pelletier, NBC 10 News.